Good morning. Christmas starts early, doesn't it, in lots of places. You can't go anywhere, really, without hearing some of the lovely Christmas music. I'm not talking about the secular music, I'm talking about those wonderful Christmas carols. And the one that has been going round around my head, do you have that songs go round around your head, even when you're not thinking about them? Suddenly you hear them in your head. It's just the phrase, joy to the world. Joy to the world. You know the song. And there's a lot of joy about Christmas. It's about, and angels came and said this wonderful good news. This amazing good news, the joy. And Isaiah 9, in chapter 9, starts his chapter saying, the people who walked in darkness have seen a great light. And then a few verses further down it says there's great rejoicing, like there is when the harvest is gathered and everybody has a party because the harvest is in and it's been a good harvest. There's a real sense in which Jesus' coming brings joy to us. But I want to focus today on the joy that one person coming to realize who Jesus is and what he's done and being found brings to heaven. Now that's written about, recorded, there's 3 stories that Jesus told about lost things in Luke 15. I'm sure you're familiar with them. The lost sheep, the lost coin, and the lost son, or the prodigal son, the lost son. Read the chapter if you get a chance to. I haven't got time to read it now. But the reason Jesus told these stories is given the 2 verses before the stories start, right at the beginning of Luke chapter 15, where it says, "Now the tax collectors and sinners were all drawing near to hear him. And the Pharisees and the scribes," that's the religious leaders, "murmured, saying, 'This man receives sinners and eats with them.'" And this is a reflection of what Isaiah said. The people who walk in darkness have seen a great light. These people who lived their lives in darkness, these people who robbed and stole and were prostitutes, the people who were swindlers and all the people that the religious people wouldn't have anything to do with because they weren't good people. They were bad people. This is a great comfort, you know. Jesus didn't come to save you because you're good. He didn't come to save me because I'm good. He came to save me because he loves me. He came to save you because he loves you. And he loves you. It says, Paul says, it was while we were yet sinners that Christ died for us. It was when we were in need that Jesus came. It was when the world was dark that the light came into the world. And that light has lit the lives of these sinful people. They were drawn to Jesus. They were drawn to the light like a moth is drawn to a light in the evenings. You know, you have to, I don't know, when it's not so bad when it's raining. You don't get lots of moths. But when it's a hot summer's evening and you've got a light on, you've got to be careful if the windows are open because all the moths will come in, drawn to the light. They were drawn to the light. And the religious people didn't like Jesus mixing with the bad guys. If he was who he said he was, if he was God, he'd know how awful these people were, and he wouldn't mix with them, would he? Why would he mix with them? That shows that he doesn't really know what's right and what's wrong, because if you're good, you don't mix with the bad. And Jesus told them these 3 stories to set them right. And he told them about the sheep that was lost and how the shepherd searched. He had 100 sheep. He knew them all by name. And one was missing. And he searched and searched and searched till he found that one sheep. And when he brought that sheep home, he told his neighbours and friends Rejoice with me, I found my sheep which was lost. Just so, I tell you, there'll be more joy in heaven over one sinner who repents than over 99 righteous persons who need no repentance. I feel sorry for someone who thinks they are so good they don't ever need to change what they're doing and say sorry. Repentance simply means realizing you're doing the wrong thing and doing something different. It's a simple thing. It sounds complicated. It's a big word, but all it means is turning round. And this sheep is brought home. Sheep don't have much sense. They just follow their noses to the good food, and they get lost. Sometimes it's a bit odd to be compared to a sheep. I don't know if you know many sheep, but they're not very intelligent creatures. One of them runs, they all run. And then the coin has no sense at all. It's just lost. And the woman rejoices, gets her neighbours in to rejoice when she finds this very valuable jewel. And the man who had 2 sons and the one son willfully goes away. This is more like us, you know. God does not force us to be found. God gives us a choice. But the minute we respond to his loving gaze and his desire for us to come home, he runs to meet us, and he welcomes us with open arms. God does not force himself on anyone. Perhaps you never realized you were lost. Perhaps you thought you found God. But actually, when Jesus came to the earth, he came as light so that those who were in darkness could see the light, and those who didn't even realize they lived in darkness would realize how dark their darkness was when they saw the light of Jesus. But the heart of my thought today is that you and I, you, dear friend, you brought great joy to the Father when you acknowledged who Jesus is and you were found. Heaven rejoiced over you. That's how valuable you are to him. And my time is up. Gosh, it's a wonderful subject, isn't it? But have a read of Luke 15. It's so wonderful. You are a source of joy. And if you haven't found Jesus yet, if you do today, the halls and avenues of heaven will be filled with rejoicing if you come to Jesus and realize who he is, what he did, and place your faith in him and choose today to follow him. See you tomorrow, I hope. Look forward to it. Bye-bye.